Mrs. Chilworth, 36, very attractive, research scientist. On external examination, I've discovered a single medial lateral incision, which has been resewn for purposes I just don't understand at this time. In any event, multiple stab wounds. The angle of entry and depth of the blows indicate a clockwise pattern of attack which matches exactly to victim Gwendolyn Benedict, who was pulled from Bellona Creek last Friday.
Dr. Daniel Slade?
Yes, I'm Dr. Slade.
We're here to take Dr. Chilworth off your hands.
Just like that.
We do have authorization.
Thank you. Well, I don't recognize the signature on this document, so the body will just have to stay with me.
Dr. Chilworth's body has to be turned over to people who are better equipped to deal with it.
Well, I can deal with the body just fine. Now, if you gentlemen will excuse me.
This is the best opening that you've ever written. I'm not just saying that because I'm your agent.
Well, thanks for the compliment, but
I mean, another 350 pages like this, and, yeah, you've got your 5th bestseller on your hands. Not even, Sue Grafton started this fast.
Well, I'm glad you're so optimistic.
So, where's the rest of it?
Jim, there's a little problem. That's all.
Oh, what?
All the pages I've written. I haven't got any more.
The publisher expects 350 pages by Friday.
I have writer's block.
You don't have time for writer's block. If you don't meet this deadline, they'll cancel your contract. And then you'll have to give back the $25 million advance.
That's it. You see? The money. It's so intimidating.
Forgive me for being such a great agent. Turning you into the next Mary Higgins Clark. I want my 2.5 mil.
Please, don't yell at me. I'm having a hard enough time the way it is.
You don't know hard. If you blow this, I'll make sure that you never sell another book anywhere.
You wouldn't have any ideas, would you?
Any ideas, would I? For all I care. You could kill some poor slob, follow the police around, and see how they solve it. You just get me those 350 pages by Friday.
Okay. Thanks. That's a much better opening. Victim not killed in the woods, but his body was kept in a freezer for 6 months. Now, if it weren't for the forensic entomologist who was able to calculate the amount of maggots in his chest cavity, we might never have known. That's disgusting. Oh, but bugs are very hot right now. And I'm just trying to do my job as your technical advisor. I know. And I couldn't write the Danielle Slade novels without you.
You know what I like? The cobra bite in your first book.
You read Deadly Darkness?
Yeah. I have to admit, I only picked it up because Amanda was so giddy about having her name in print.
I'm never giddy. 4 thank you notes and flowers for a week might be considered giddy.
Deadly Darkness is a lot of fun to read. As a matter of fact, I picked up your other 3 books, too. I can't figure out where you get all those great ideas.
Oh, pretty much the way you do things. Suspect. I visualize the murder, the killer, the motives, and then I use the great physical evidence that Amanda always gives me.
I think physical evidence is very important, but it's no more important than behavioral evidence.
Oh, you're right. In fact, sometimes behavioral is more important. The real final clue. The perfect solution to what would otherwise be considered the unsolvable. And when you find it, you know exactly where you're going and when you're going to get there. The moment of perfect synchronicity. Not that it's easy to find, no way. And even when you do find it, making the physical and the behavioral work together is a bitch. I think I'm going to the ladies' room. She's between books.
It's Gay's purse.
Oh, well,
You can't go in there.
well, it might be important. Hello?
Hello? Kay? You there?
Kay isn't here right now. Who's this?
It's Jim. Why aren't you there? Call me.
Hello? Kay isn't here right. Static.
Dr. Sloan, if you really needed to make a phone call, I could have loaned you a quarter.
Actually, your purse was ringing.
Oh,
I'm afraid it was a bad connection. It sounded like somebody, Jim, somebody?
Jim Rothman, my agent. He was being paranoid. He got me this huge 3-book deal, and I have to turn the first manuscript in Friday. I'm holding on to it just to torture him.
Maybe you ought to call him back.
Oh, not until after we have lunch. He won't stop being twitchy until the check clears. I should have been a call girl. It's a lot easier way to make a living.
It's her process.
This place smells great. And you really own it?
Yeah, me and my son, and that bleary-eyed young man in the scrubs over there.
Let me go take care of this. Excuse me.
Busy, huh?
No kidding. 12-hour shift, 3 nurses out sick. We had a bus crash and an outbreak of chicken pox at a computer conference. Ow, and now this. What is this?
It smells like coffee.
So does that stuff at the hospital, and we all know what that tastes like.
All right.
This is my restaurant. I ordered Costa Rican. Where is it? Steve, he canceled my beans. How could he cancel my beans? I let him have these plastic little ketchup bottles, and I want my coffee.
There's been a homicide. Okay, I'm sorry. We need you to identify the body.
That's Jim, all right.
You all right?
No, not exactly. I mean, that's my agent with a whatever stuck in his chest.
It's a letter opener. And then there's this.
What's this?
A scorpion.
Ooh, well, message from the killer, I'd imagine. I have no idea what it means.
Well, it doesn't make sense, not at all.
Well, it will.
I hope so. I really do.
Look, this isn't a field trip for pencil-pushing civilians.
You're a civilian, too, and you're also a pencil pusher.
Damn right, I'm one of Jim Rothman's best clients. But once a cop, always a cop.
Retired Sergeant Mullen was meeting Rothman for lunch. He found the body.
And I immediately secured the crime scene, as I've done so many times before.
Right. From the front seat of the chief's car. You were a driver, not a detective.
Baby, I saw more on the streets when I was with the chief than any detective could see in a lifetime. That's what gives my books the stink of realism.
Yeah, well, you've got the stink part right.
See, look at this, 2 coffee cups. One of them could be the killer's.
Nope. Coffee's too cold. Timing's all wrong.
Let's dust these for prints.
Look at this. Page 102 to 130. Huh. Chapter 12's missing.
I noticed that, too. Glad to see you're keeping up.
I'll have it checked.
Yeah, that's odd.
3 books, upside down.
Uh-huh.
Well, Sloan, looks like you got a tough one here. You know, there aren't that many clues. But if there's anything else I can do to help, you know where to find me.
He wonders why no one gave him a retirement present.
Who could have done this?
Don't worry. We'll figure it out.
Mark,
Thanks.
take a look at this.
Let's see what clues were left behind. Well, for one, there was the letter opener left in literary agent Horace Chilworth's chest. Somehow appropriate, yet ordinary. Then there were the 3 mundane textbooks, all turned upside down. Greener Grass in 6 Days, Kickboxing with Dickie Kimber, and Low-Cal Desserts for 2. Ordinary. Then we had, oh yes, The Scorpion in the Jar. Definitely not ordinary. And the rifled manuscript. Could this be the deed of some disgruntled writer who was angered by Chilworth's cool response to his or her work? And if so, why steal the 12th chapter of his or her own manuscript?
Brilliant.
Brilliant only if you can figure it out. I think you left too many clues hanging around. There was the rifled manuscript, the 3 upside-down books, and that damn scorpion. What on earth were you thinking about?
I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting on the jacket copy.
You're not playing fair with your readers. You cannot plant clues not knowing where they lead.
No, that's the problem. I don't know where anything leads anymore.
Well, then how are you going to work us through this one?
I'm not. Mark Sloan will do it for me.
It's very creative.
And that Bentley's always saying how brilliant he is. Why not use him? Especially now that I'm stuck with a dead Horace Chilworth and no idea who killed him.
And Mark Sloan won't figure out that you're the one who killed Jim Rothman, right?
No way. I left so many clues he'll be swimming in a school of red herring. Well, I'll use his deductions for our basic plot points, and then we'll fill in the interesting parts, and I can make alterations when it becomes mundane or simplistic.
Not bad.
Hello? Oh, well, of course, Dr. Sloan. I don't know what I can do, but I'll certainly try. Jim meant a lot to me.
The 3 upside-down books were all written by clients that Mr. Rothman dropped earlier this past year. Now, Steve figured that out when he looked at Rothman's records.
Well, Steve checked their alibis. One of them's dead, and 2 of them don't even live in L.A. anymore. So if there's a message there, I don't see what it is.
Well, we can't be stumped already. I mean, you said yourself that there was a chapter missing out of that manuscript, and perhaps the killer took it with him.
Especially if the chapter included something damaging.
Well, I don't think that's it. I mean, it was written by that actor, Bruce Blazer. He doesn't have any secrets.
Everybody has secrets.
Not Bruce. And even if he did, he'd use them to get himself a cover story in the National Enquirer.
How can you talk about the star of Tuttle and the Mummy like that?
Tuttle and the Mummy.
You know him?
Sure. Harry Tuttle and his partner, the Mummy, were supernatural crime fighters in a 60s TV show. They rerun it on one of those cable stations at 2 a.m. What, you guys never had insomnia?
Not that bad.
Tuttle and the Mummy was canceled in 1968 and became an instant cult hit. Bruce has been living off the persona ever since, and writing these disgustingly effective occult thrillers for the last 10 years. The man's a walking money machine.
Well, then he wouldn't want to kill Jim Rothman.
Well, unless he suspected that Jim was trying to cheat him. Loyalty wasn't exactly in Jim Rothman's lexicon.
We better find out what's in that missing chapter.
So let's go.
I don't think so, because this is a police investigation, and I am the police.
But you're not a writer. I know these people. I know this world. I could save you a lot of time. Jim was my agent.
She's right.
She'd be a big help.
I don't know why I bother.
You never went anywhere without that suit. My partner, the Mummy, fighting evil whenever it threatens the innocent.
That's good.
Ted was largely responsible for the success of Tuttle and the Mummy. The fans loved him.
What happened to him?
He was clocked by a golf ball on the 17th hole at Pebble Beach. Turned him into a vegetable. That's when I started writing. Doing personal appearances without him just seemed all wrong.
The demon roared with indignation at the intrusion into his dark sanctuary by such virginal interlopers. Creeping crawlers. The prose is a little purple, isn't it, Bruce?
Not the gritty realism of Danielle Slade conducting autopsies in a halter top.
At least I can write.
Well, we didn't come for a literary critique, so if you could just print us out a copy of Chapter 12 of your latest manuscript.
I don't use a computer. Dyslexic.
That must make it hard.
Dreadfully.
Well, maybe you could just tell us what was in it, then.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't read that far.
It's your book.
All those stunts I did on the show did bad things to my short-term memory.
Or maybe you didn't write it in the first place.
You have a ghostwriter?
Sid always said that writing is 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration. I don't like to sweat.
Sid Abernathy? That no-talent drudge is your ghostwriter?
My creative collaborator. Well, don't be so shocked. All writers need a little help now and then.
Well, maybe we should have a little talk with your helper.
Why would anyone want to be a ghostwriter anyway? Nobody knows what you've accomplished.
Money. Besides, those books would never sell under Abernathy's name.
Well, how would he know if he didn't try?
He did. Remember that passage I read from Bruce's book? It was originally in one of Abernathy's own detective novels. He not only steals from himself, he steals the worst part.
He's so bad, why do you read him?
Well, don't you keep up with other detectives?
Not the same thing.
Oh, sure it is. Caseloads, bestseller lists, it's all competition.
Mr. Abernathy?
Hey, it's open.
No.
They're right inside. Go
Is he not going to solve this one for us, too?
Well, how you doing, Sloan? Bentley, doctor?
Don't tell me you had an appointment with Abernathy.
Oh, no, police scanner. You know, you got to keep up with these radio calls. Never know when I might be able to lend a hand.
I don't know how we're going to figure this one out without you. Come on.
Sid Abernathy, huh? Looks like one of his disgruntled fans decided to save the world for more Rick Steele novels. Noble motive.
All right, get it. Yeah, we got it.
Doctor, looks like we got a serial killer on our hands.
You do?
Yeah, you know, preying on the literati. And that's his calling card. I like his style. I'll tell you what, while I'm here, why don't I go out and check the perimeter, see what you've missed?
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we have a novel here. I got first dibs, baby.
That is the most silly, stupid, impulsive idea.
Well, it's an interesting puzzle, all right.
Well, you don't think Archie could be right, do you? About the serial killer? I mean, the crime is identical.
Well, I admit it doesn't look a lot like Rothman's place, but somehow it just doesn't feel like the work of a serial killer.
What does it feel like?
Confusing.
The same M.O. as Horace Chilworth's murder. A single upward thrust with a letter opener. Piercing the descending aorta. Causing rapid exsanguination and death. There is a difference. And it is a significant one, one I must not overlook. This latest victim was stung before he was killed.
This is way too confusing. Mark Sloan is confused. I'm not.
Well, why aren't you? I mean, we have two killers now. Yeah, you off Rothman, but you didn't off Abernathy.
I know. Isn't that great?
Yeah, I hate when you get to this part of a book. You become positively delusional.
I'm not delusional. I'm excited. This thing finally has a life of its own. That's a good thing, too. It's starting to get a little straight line in the plot. Needed a few more twists. Twists? Come on. There's nothing. 300 pages while he or she interviews suspects before rounding them all up in the end and dazzling them with deductive reasoning.
I'm all for action. Remember when you wrote Praying Mantis and I used a corpse's rib as my kendo stick?
Yeah, that was good. I don't know who killed Sid Abernathy or why, but this shows that if you plant a couple good what-ifs, the whole narrative just lays itself out.
Oh, if you really believe that, you would have had a manuscript ready yesterday.
A dull one. This is definitely not dull.
Well, you're right about that, at least. Where do we go from here?
Where else? Back to Mark Sloan. Oh, I asked for coffee.
I know, but there will be none. At least not until the good stuff gets here. Hey, I know these books. That's a Dance of Death series. Rick Steele, super spy. Fast with his fists, faster on his feet.
Jesse has very low literary standards.
Yeah, Sid Abernathy happens to be a great writer. His constant reworking of specific themes
and scenes
makes him one of the most complex contemporary American writers. I mean, look at Cha-Cha Choker's brilliant use of metaphor. And then there's Lindy Hop Lunatic, all right? And that one, Rick is chasing after this serial killer who preys on swing dance competition.
Look at this right here. Cha-Cha Choker right on the edge of Jim Rothman's desk.
That one was great. And that one, Rick Steele uses a dead guy's rib as a kendo stick to battle the forces of evil.
Cha-Cha Choker is missing from Abernathy's personal library.
You mean he took an already published book to his agent? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe not, but the lab guys found something in Abernathy's computer that does. A blackmail note. The whole world will soon know the lying thief you really are.
I guess ghostwriting just doesn't pay enough.
Did you find that chapter 12 from Blazer's book that Abernathy was ghosting?
Mm-hmm. The hero, who thinks he's turning into a vampire, gets on a plane for Albania and reviews the eerie events of the past 11 chapters. And if there was information the killer wanted to hide, he would have had to take the entire manuscript.
At least that red herring is dead. I told you left too many clues lying around.
You know, this isn't working. Why don't we just drop it?
Why, when it's just getting interesting? We managed to trace the jars the scorpions were in. Wopak Greek olives. There's only a couple of stores in the L.A. area that carry them, so I'm going to check the surveillance tapes and see if any of Rothman's clients are regulars.
You see that just when you're about to give up, the perfect clue pops right up.
It wasn't plagiarism. My subconscious merely borrowed a few elements from a book I barely remember reading.
Praying Mantis is a lie? My whole life is a lie. A lie.
Yes, yes, I made you up.
Oh, don't you become a realist on me now.
Oh, damn.
Wopak Greek olives. You don't have the plotting ability of a wombat.
Go away. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, come in.
Nice setup you've got. Everything you need, huh?
Tools of my trade. Can't do without them.
Kind of like surveillance cameras are the tools of my trade.
Kinda, I guess.
You take a nice surveillance photo, especially the one from Lindler's Market, where they sell these Wopak olives.
Glad you left the scorpion home.
Oh, there was no scorpion. I got this from your recycle bin.
You were digging in my garbage?
It's always interesting.
Look, Lieutenant, don't play cat and mouse with me. It won't work. I didn't kill Jim Rothman.
Oh, we don't think you did.
You don't?
You didn't have motive. I mean, he just got into that big deal. And he didn't have opportunity. He called you before he was killed, and from that point on, you were with Dad and Amanda.
I know that.
But you were at the scene of the Rothman murder. You went over every piece of evidence with us, and it made you realize it was a perfect opportunity to kill your blackmailer.
What blackmailer?
Sid Abernathy,
Sid wasn't blackmailing me.
even though you stole from Cha-Cha Choker.
Figured that out, did you?
When Jesse was telling us about Rick Steele and the kendo stick, Dad remembered a similar scene from Praying Mantis.
Where Danielle fights off the bad guys with the corpse's rib.
You did plagiarize Abernathy.
Borrowed, unconsciously, just a tiny part. But I didn't kill him. I'm not a copycat.
Then why were there olive jars from your favorite brand at both murder scenes?
I wish I could answer that.
So do I. And since you can't, I'm afraid I have to arrest you for the murder of Sid Abernathy.
I framed myself for a murder I didn't commit. By committing the murder I did commit. And I can't convince them I didn't commit the second murder unless I admit I committed the first one. You know, I usually like it when a character starts taking over the story, but this is getting a little out of control.
Oh, I think it's Dr. Sloan who's gotten out of control. And what about all those red herrings he's supposed to be swimming in?
Don't start with me.
At least you told the truth about the blackmail.
Yeah, the truth will set me free.
No, but it'll make a great ending.
Oh, Amanda, thank you for coming to get me.
I'm just glad I was in the path lab when you called.
I didn't know how I was going to get home after I posted bail. You know how I hate taxis.
I can't believe they're doing this to you. I told Steve he was all wrong.
Well, he is.
I said if Kay Ludlow really wanted to kill Sid Abernathy, she would have thought of something more intelligent, nefarious.
Exactly.
And you're a mystery writer. I mean, there's no way that you would have been sloppy enough to leave all those obvious clues lying around.
Amanda, the real killer is still out there. And he might be getting ready to kill another one of Jim's clients, maybe even me.
Okay, no one's gonna kill you. All we need to do is find out who committed the first murder.
We do?
Absolutely. And once that person confesses to both murders, well, you'll be free and clear.
Yeah. Right, great. Okay.
Come on, let's go over and talk to Mark about it.
We know you didn't kill Rothman, and if you didn't kill Abernathy...
I didn't.
Well, then who did? And where did he or she get the olives?
You know, Steve didn't find any more of Rothman's clients on the surveillance tape.
Ah, real coffee. This is from that designer coffee shop down the street.
Good, huh?
And $1.75 a cup.
And worth every penny.
Why can't you just get some brown crystals and drown them in hot water and leave my profit margins alone?
Hey, didn't you kill Sid Abernathy?
No, she didn't, Jess.
I knew he'd believe you.
You know, it's possible that this was about killing Sid Abernathy, and murdering Jim Rothman was just to point us towards Kay.
And since Rothman called Kay just before he died...
She had an alibi the real killer couldn't have known about.
So who is our killer?
Why would I kill my co-author?
Ghost writer?
The real unknown author of Creeping Crawlers?
I'll read the acknowledgments. He's mentioned prominently in every one of my books.
Acknowledgements aren't royalties.
And why would someone as famous as you go ahead and hire a ghostwriter anyway?
Writer's block? Laziness? Paranoia? General lack of talent?
Or all of the above. The truth is, Tuttle and the Mummy made me famous. Once you've been a celebrity, it's hard to go back to being a nobody.
And being a best-selling author made you famous all over again.
Well, fame of a different kind, but I'm certainly not complaining.
Maybe Sid Abernathy got tired of still being a nobody.
Not a chance. The man had no ego. But he loved money. As long as he got paid, he didn't mind being used.
And how much is being used worth these days?
A lot. Fortunately, I could afford it. Maybe somebody else decided they couldn't.
So where are we going now?
Dad's found something at Abernathy's house.
people really read this stuff?
Only people with bad taste.
Which explains Jesse's infatuation with them.
You said you found something?
Yeah. You know, Abernathy's got quite a collection of books.
Oh, well. Most authors have big collections. It's sort of an addiction.
None of Abernathy's books are organized except on this one shelf.
These are alphabetized by author.
And that's not all. This is everything any one of these authors ever wrote, including Bruce Blazer.
Exactly. All of these books are books that Sid Abernathy ghost wrote.
And then why are retired Sergeant Archie Mullins' books here?
Probably because all he ever knew about the street was how to find one on a map.
I think you better have a talk with him.
Calling in reinforcements? Shut up. Archie, this is a friend. Yes, darling. You know the cops are onto you. They know you killed your ghostwriter. They're on their way. If I were you, I would run. Run, run, run. You know what they do to cops in jail. Bye-bye.
You're warning your suspect?
No, I do hate to manipulate the plot like that.
I recall you giving an interview to one of those unbearably pretentious literary periodicals, and you prided yourself on letting your characters, namely me, tell the story.
Well, it does feel a little ham-fisted.
Unless you're becoming one of those terribly plot-heavy hack writers you profess to hate.
Like Sid Abernathy?
Well, let's face it. He couldn't have been all that bad. You did steal a book from the man.
It was a plot point. It wasn't stealing, it was an homage.
I thought you called it unconscious borrowing.
Look, Danielle, this is the only solution, okay? If Archie Mullen runs away, they'll blame both murders on him, and they'll forget about me and about Jim Rothman, and I can finally type the end on this nightmare, and I can even make sure that Archie doesn't write a book about it before I do. Okay, are we ready? Thank you very much.
I did some more checking on the way over. Turns out Mullen was on one of those grocery store surveillance tapes.
Oh, don't tell me you missed one.
No, one of the clerks took it home to record a couple of South Park episodes. Yeah, but lucky he didn't tape over everything. See, in real life, not everything comes easy.
No.
At least you were able to locate that pet store when Mullen bought that scorpion.
Oh, no. People use scorpions as pets? No wonder Mullen used a ghostwriter. He's not very good at hiding his setups.
Get out of here, Sloan! You're just making this worse, Archie.
You know what it's like for a cop in prison, Sloan? Now get out of here!
I'm calling for backup, Archie. You know what happens if you don't give it up now?
Yeah, this!
Drop it, Archie. Amanda? Call it in. You all right?
In fact, I'm perfect.
Doesn't make sense. Archie Mullen wasn't the gung-ho, self-sacrificing type.
No, he said he was afraid of prison.
Not enough to keep him from killing Rothman and Abernathy.
No. Blackmail can make you stupid. At least it makes my character stupid.
Looked like it had the same effect on Mullen, too.
The same note we found on Abernathy's computer.
I wonder how many people he was going to blackmail.
He certainly picked the wrong person to start with.
I guess Archie did exactly what we thought he did. Killed Rothman to set up Kay for both murders.
And when Kay was released and he saw that his plan was going to fail,
He decided to depart in a poorly thought-out blaze of glory. Well, it's never a good idea to kill off your protagonist.
No, it definitely isn't.
It is nice to close both cases at once.
Kay, how are you with all of this? I mean, now that it's over and you have to get a new agent.
Oh, I'm okay. In fact, maybe we could talk about that maggot stuff after all. For my next book. And there will be a next book. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm not worried.
Well, you don't look happy.
I don't like these kind of surprises. Always makes me think I missed something.
I know. It's like when I write and it turns up short. I'm sure that I've missed a big chunk of the story.
And have you?
Well, sometimes. But usually it means that the story was too simple to begin with and that the solution was too easy to find. So I just put it in a drawer and start something new.
Oh, maybe I ought to put this in the drawer.
Yeah.
Want some?
We're back in the coffee business?
Yeah, Steve and I compromised. I get the Costa Rican beans, but then we have to cut it with the canned stuff.
Sounds fair.
I thought the Abernathy Rothman case was closed now that Mullen is dead.
Well, it is, supposedly. We've got coasters now?
Oh, yeah. Do you know what it does to public morale to see water rings everywhere?
You know something, Jesse? Mullen's dead. I think the killer's still out there, and I know just what to do about it. Put that on my tab.
I told you Mark Sloan would get me my plot and miss the truth besides.
You got lucky.
I got enough material for a dozen books. There's the self-sacrificing cop story, the blackmail scheme story, the missing author story. Kay Ludlow.
I know what you did.
Did?
His spirit will walk until it's avenged.
What are you talking about?
And I will be the instrument of that vengeance.
What vengeance?
Archie Mullen may be dead by another's hand, but the fault lies with you.
Oh, come on, Bruce.
As to the deaths of Jim Rothman and Sid Abernathy.
You know, you really should stop watching your old reruns. You're not Harry Tuttle.
I approve.
What?
And so will the police, very soon. And then the restless can rest.
Bruce, wait a minute. I didn't kill Sid Abernathy. I have to drop another body. But it's an excellent final chapter twist. Besides, it'll fix that lame ending you've got right now. Since when did you get so pragmatic? Oh, gosh. I don't want to know.
Hello. We did the same thing in episode 39. You should have been watching my old reruns.
I thought you were going to put it in the drawer.
Well, I tell you, I'm never satisfied when it gets that easy.
I'm the same way. So how did you know?
Well, you write detective stories. What's missing in this scene compared to Jim Rothman's office?
The upside-down books, different titles?
Nice guess.
But wrong. The rifled manuscript. Chapter 12 is missing, I assume, but irrelevant.
Right.
Let's see. Well, there's the damn scorpion and coffee cups. No coasters.
No coasters. When you were at Barbecue Bob's, you always found yourself a coaster to put on your coffee cup. And you did the same thing in Jim Rothman's office. But at Abernathy's house, there were no coasters at all. And Archie Mullen, kitchen table was covered with water rings.
Oh, the man never used a coaster in his life.
Well, obviously it wouldn't occur to him to use one in Jim Rothman's office either.
You know, this could add a whole new layer of psychological motivation to my killer. I could blame his murderous bent on an obsessively, compulsively neat mother. Well, I did have an alibi for the time of Jim's murder.
Yes, you did, and it was a neat piece of plotting, too. Instead of making us believe that you were nowhere near Rothman when he was killed, you made us believe that he was alive when he was actually already dead. I like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, simple is usually best.
That's what Mummy always told me. Brilliant powers of deduction behind that body wrap.
But obviously there was a mistake.
Rothman asked why you weren't there. Now, that's something you'd say to an answering machine, not to a bad connection on a cell phone.
I don't know. That's kind of weak on the physical evidence.
But terrific on the behavioral.
You should have modeled me after him.
I still didn't kill Sid Abernathy. It really was Archie Mullen.
We know.
Please apologize to Amanda for me. I guess I'm not as good as either one of us would like me to be. But I was telling the truth. There will be another book.
Why did you kill Jim Rothman in the first place? Was he trying to cheat you?
No, nothing that defensible. Writer's block. You have no idea.
They named a drink after you, you know.
Great kiss. Too bad that's all we've got time for. Great plan, Showworth. And almost a perfect murder. 2 perfect murders. The false clues, the apparent copycat killing, all to cover the fact that you plagiarized your last book. Hello, Lieutenant? Yes, I have the real literary agent killer.
The end. Brilliant. Really brilliant.
I still didn't get to sleep with the very attractive Horace Chilworth.
Wait till I write the prison breakout story. You're gonna love it.
Yes!
Previously on Diagnosis Murder. I didn't think it was meant for her.
The name of your sister? Julia Langford Adams.
Joseph and Catherine Langford.
They're my grandparents.
Joseph Langford was executed for the murder of his wife. It was my dad's last case.
I'm Detective James Sloan.
My dad's partner, Danny McNamara, founded Premium Security.
Yesterday, I was involved in a car chase with a vehicle registered to your company.
You're saying that a murder that took place last week is connected to a murder that took place over 50 years ago?
That's correct.
I found my dad's old partner, Danny McNamara.
You had to tell me about the girl. Everything would have been okay if you'd have kept your mouth shut.
Danny, what girl?
Meet me at Beeman Park.
Carrie!
Here, let me help you.
I'm okay. Looks a lot worse than it is. He's gonna need a couple of days rest.
Yeah, I'll make sure that he gets it. Come on, sit down.
I'm gonna go change. Yeah.
What they did to you
It's not so bad.
never would have happened if it weren't for me. I don't think...
That's not true. I can't believe I went for it. I took the call and I went for it. Can't believe I let myself get suckered like that.
Steve, I don't want you getting hurt on my account.
Carrie, whether I knew you or not, I'd be investigating Julia's murder. The sooner I get out of here and find the guys who killed her, the happier I'll be. Hi. Want something?
Yeah, I'd like some help. With Steve.
Oh, I don't involve myself in his personal life.
Oh, we don't have personal problems.
Well, that's good.
No, Dr. Sloan, I'm worried about him.
Because of the case?
Now, I've never known a policeman. And I know that this is what they do. But is he always like this?
Like what?
He's so preoccupied.
Oh, maybe just a little more than usual, yeah.
Because of me?
Yeah, you make it personal.
And your father?
Well, there's a lot involved in this case. Yeah, it's personal.
I just don't want anything to happen to him.
No, neither do I. This case is so intertwined, both of them. The man who killed your sister was going to be paid by the Premium Security Company. The Premium Security Company was founded by the man who investigated your grandmother's death with my father. When your grandfather was indicted for killing his wife, he said he had an alibi for that day. He said that he stopped to help some woman whose car had broken down on the road. Sally? When my father and his partner found the woman, she'd been murdered. The girl was a prostitute named Sally Perry, and without her testimony, your grandfather was convicted and sentenced to death.
They never found out who murdered her?
No. Shortly after your grandfather's execution, my father found Sally Perry's roommate.
Got a whole lot of questions for you, Edie.
That's Miss Franklin to you.
I'll call you Mrs. Roosevelt if you prefer, but I want some answers. You used to live with Sally Perry.
Yeah? Why?
I was checking her sheet.
Hey, Sally's dead.
I know, but 8 months ago she was arrested.
Yeah, one of her dumber moves. She stole some money from a John, and he came after her with the cops.
She never came to trial.
What's the big deal with Sally?
What happened? Who dropped the charges?
Don't know. Okay, it was strange, that's for sure. I mean, 1 minute she's going to court, the next, she comes into a pile of money, and we take off to Cuba for a couple months.
Who gave her the money?
Hey, I'm laying in the sun, drinking Chi-Chis. She don't want to tell, I don't ask.
What does that tell you?
That my grandfather was framed.
Somebody gave Sally Perry money to leave town so your grandfather wouldn't have any alibi during the trial.
That's horrible.
Yes, it is. Your sister was murdered because she was getting too close to the real killers.
And you have no idea who they are?
I got a little idea.
Who?
Someone who could get the charges dropped against Sally Perry.
Like the police?
Or somebody with a lot of clout. What was Julia doing the days before she died?
I don't know. She wouldn't tell me. She knew I didn't want her investigating the case.
Oh, too bad.
She canceled lunch with me last Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, a week before she died. She told me that she had to go to the Rancho Park Tennis Club and that she couldn't meet me for lunch.
Why? I wonder why she'd go there.
I don't know. But it wasn't to play tennis because she played tennis like she had 2 left feet.
Thanks.
He's a Georgian taxi.
Mark!
Ted, I didn't know you were a member of this club.
I'm not. Elliot is. But have you met my son?
I don't believe so.
Elliot, this is Dr. Mark Sloan. We're on the board over at Community General together.
Oh, my father was just talking about you. He said you're the only man he knows who turns down free trips to Paris.
That's call me crazy.
Well, if you guys will excuse me, I gotta get ready for a game.
Elliot, before you go, have you seen this young lady around the club at all?
No, I don't think so. Well, it was nice to meet you, Dr. Sloan.
Nice to meet you.
I'll see you later, Ed.
How about you, Ted? It's Sarah Adams' daughter, Julia. She was murdered last week.
Oh, no. What a pretty girl. No, never seen her before. Listen, that job in Paris is still waiting for you.
Talk to Jesse Travis. He's dying to go to Paris.
But you're the right man for the job.
Ladies, excuse me a moment. Have you seen this young girl around the club?
Convertible number 17.
Coming right up.
Oh, he's getting the car.
Oh, thanks. Nice day.
Yeah, beautiful day.
Listen, you haven't happened to see that young lady, have you?
Oh, yes, sir.
You did? When was she here?
Oh, last week, maybe Tuesday and Wednesday. They wouldn't let her inside. She was pretty upset.
Do you know who she wanted to see?
Mr. Barclay.
But she didn't see him.
Oh, no, she saw him. She came early on Friday. She was here when he got here. Young Mr. Barclay, he was pretty upset. He yelled at her. They pushed each other. They were pretty mad.
I'll tell your young friend I will be needing my car.
What are you doing?
Why don't you look at this picture again?
Now, I told you, I have never seen her before.
You have a regular 2:30 game. It's in her book. She came to see you.
Look, I know you're a friend of my father's, and I don't want to be rude, so please, get off the court.
You don't remember yelling at this girl outside?
That was her?
You pushed her and you shoved her.
She was nuts. She grabbed me, she was pulling my hair.
What did she want?
How would I know? I don't know what she was talking about. Look, Dr. Sloan, I can tell you this much. She didn't look anything like in that picture. I never would have recognized her from that. Let's go.
Where'd you find them?
Found my badge?
You badge number 161?
That'd be me, Carl Agajanian. Where'd you find it?
Beeman Park, behind the bathrooms.
Well, thanks. They make us pay for those things. Hey, what the hell are you doing?
Your badge was found by a boy just after you and your friends beat up my partner.
That's a crock.
We don't like people who beat up cops, Carl.
I didn't do anything.
Tell me about it downtown. You're under arrest. Let's go.
Hey, Ted.
How are you?
I'm fried. You mind?
No, help yourself.
You want something?
No, thanks. It's a little too early for me, John. Hey, what was so urgent that couldn't wait?
You want premium security?
My lawyers want it. My accountants want it. I want it.
All right. It's yours.
What happened?
Ah, Ted, you know, one too many clients screaming at me, one too many screw-ups by my people. No patience, no interest anymore. I'm just done.
You sure?
I'm sure.
You have got a deal.
All right. My lawyers will be in touch.
Good.
All right.
So his plane reservation is confirmed. I agree. I hear the Caymans are lovely. But I think Mr. McNamara is going to have to spend his winter here in Los Angeles. I gotta go. Thanks. Mr. McNamara.
Yes.
You're under arrest.
What the hell are you talking about? Making a big mistake, young lady. A big mistake.
Arrested your employee, Carl Agajanian. Mr. Agajanian says he did your dirty work for you. You paid him to beat up Detective Sloan. says that you gave him the money to pay off the guy who killed Julia Adams. And that he was in the premium security car we chased. And that it was your money they threw out the car window.
What are you, mute? Say something. Well, let me explain something to you. Here in California, murder for hire is a special circumstance crime. That's a death penalty. The gas chamber. So maybe there's something you'd like to say, some kind of deal you'd like to cut?
Son, I spent 4 years in a Vietnamese prison. You haven't even begun to scratch the surface of my fear.
I'd like a few minutes alone with Mr. McNamara. I'm Mark Sloan, the son of your father's old partner, James Sloan. I went to see your father the other day. He's not doing well. Body's failing him. He has Alzheimer's. You seen him lately? You know, a man like that should be allowed to spend what few years he has left in peace, don't you think?
Are you threatening my father?
You know, a very strange thing happened while I was there. He thought I was my father. He said he wanted to apologize to me for something. Been thinking about it for years. At first I didn't know what he was talking about. Then I realized what he was saying. Years ago, he killed a young girl named Sally Perry. Your father killed Joseph Langford's only alibi. You know, there is no statute of limitations on murder.
What the hell's he doing?
I don't know anything about the past.
But I bet you know a lot about the present, don't you? About Julia Adams' murder. If you don't cooperate, things are going to get a lot worse for you. And your father. You think about it.
You're threatening an 86-year-old man?
Yes, I am.
Dad.
I never found out why my father abandoned my mother and me. Now I think it's somehow connected to that Langford case. I want to find out what happened. Danny?
Jimmy?
Hello, Danny. I was your partner for 15 years. You don't remember me?
Jimmy, how you doing?
We're getting up there, Danny.
Oh, Jimmy, we're there. Things don't work the way they used to.
You know, Danny, I was thinking, you remember the night that Joe Langford got the chair? We went out to a bar together.
Cock and Bull.
Right. We had a couple of drinks for ourselves. You remember I said we sent an innocent man to his death? You remember what you said?
I said, don't get into this, Jimmy. I remember that night. It was rainy and cold. The hat check girl had the night off. Do you remember that girl?
What was her name, Danny?
Lanny. She had legs so long she could wrap them around you twice.
You remember I said Joe Langford was framed and you and we bought it?
I went out with Lanny last night after she got off. We hit a couple of spots on the strip.
Danny, listen. They paid Sally Perry to be with Joe Langford the day of the murder. And then they got her out of the country so that she couldn't testify at the trial.
You like Lanny. I know you do. Look, you've got to relax, Jimmy. You've got to have a little fun.
Danny, why was Catherine Langford murdered? Why was Joe Langford framed?
Let it go.
I can't, Danny. I have to live with it. We testified at that trial, Danny. We sent an innocent man to his death.
You have got to let it go.
Why? Well, you never let go of anything.
What are you going to do? You going to the press? To the Barclays?
Well, I don't have any choice, Danny.
Don't do it, Jimmy. I'm warning you. Don't.
Barclays. Then he warned me not to go to Barclays. What's that about?
My sister was trying to talk to Elliot Barclay. She had all kinds of books on the Barclays.
What books?
I don't know. I never took a look at them.
Where'd your father go that night after you left the bar?
I don't know.
Did you ask Danny?
He doesn't know. Or can't remember.
What are you going to do?
Go to Barclays, I guess.
Now, if your father went to see the Barclays, it was 53 years ago. And he would have seen Ted Barclay's father, David, who's been dead about 25 years.
Something happened that night, and I want to know what.
I started packing up some of her stuff. I think I put the books on the Barclays in that box. Yeah, here they are.
Cheryl's going to pick me up and take me to work.
You didn't have to do that.
Well, that way you can stay here and then just go back to the house whenever you want.
See, look at this. It's a lab report for a DNA test.
That's weird. Why would Julia want a DNA test?
I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing. It's not her DNA. It's a man's.
Oh, my God.
What is it?
It's a photo of me and Julie and our friend Joyce when we were little. I mean, Joyce must have sent it to her. She didn't know.
Come here.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hi, I'm Carrie. Come on in.
Yeah, Dad, we're on our way to the hospital now. Listen, I want you to check a DNA report that we found at Julia's apartment. Right, I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
So what's the story on Carrie?
No story.
Please, the woman was in your arms. That's a story.
Let's just say it's too soon to call.
But she is living with you at the beach.
She's not moving.
But she's there.
Are you enjoying yourself?
And I have certainly not committed a crime. Look, let me tell you something. I've tried to be polite to you because of your friendship with my father. But I'm tired of your accusations. I'm tired of you.
Barclays. think Julie was obsessed.
But why? What was she looking for? I got to tell you that, I think your partner is very pretty.
Cheryl?
Yeah, Cheryl. Is that difficult?
What do you mean?
Is spending all day with an attractive woman difficult?
Cheryl's my partner and my friend.
Is she married?
Divorced.
She likes you.
You're wrong.
No, you should have seen the look on her face when she came through the door. She has feelings for you. Steve, I don't believe this.
What?
Look, this is a picture of David Barclay's mother, taken in 1923. Who does it look like?
I give up.
Well, Steve, look at it. It's Julia. Okay, wait a minute. Don't move. Hey, look. What do you think?
I think I'm beginning to understand.
I got it. Something wrong?
No, nothing. Carrie's getting a DNA test.
Interesting. Why?
I think Julia was about to prove that she and Carrie were Barclays. That's why she had Elliot Barclay's DNA test, and that's why she was murdered.
So you're going to compare Carrie's DNA to Elliot Barclay's? If they match, your girlfriend's going to be very rich.
She is not my girlfriend.
Sorry.
Forget it. You know, Cheryl, maybe Catherine Langford was a Barclay. Maybe that's why she was murdered.
Well, the Barclays, the founders of the L.A. Constitution, one of the leading families of L.A., they did all this.
Takes your breath away, doesn't it?
Yeah, you better have a hell of a case. Oh, you know the old guy up in forensics?
Robert Engel?
Yeah. Well, I gave your grandfather's letter to him.
And?
Well, go see him.
You've been investigating my father?
Don't be mad at me, Dad.
I just don't understand.
I didn't know your dad left when you were 10 years old. I mean, you never told me that before. And you showed me that letter from him from New York wishing you well, and that kind of broke my heart.
Steve.
Well, Dad, I've had a father all my life. I wanted to do something.
So you took the letter to forensics. What did you expect to find?
That's what Cheryl said. Anyway, she gave the letter to Robert Engel.
The old guy that everybody ignores.
Yeah. Now, first he matched the font. The face was used on Royal manual typewriters for years.
Yeah, my dad used an old portable.
Then he checked the paper. Now, it came from a popular West Coast manufacturer that had no distribution on the East Coast.
That's odd.
That's what Robert Engel thought. Now, Robert has a lot of time in his hands, and he's a very smart man.
What did he do?
Well, he knew your dad had been a cop, and he's been around long enough to know that the Los Angeles Police Department only used Royal manual typewriters. So he did an amazing thing. He went down to archives and pulled an old report that was written up by your dad and Danny McNamara. Take a look at the report.
These look like they were typed on the same typewriter.
You know where that typewriter was? West L.A. Division Headquarters.
Got to go.
I'm coming with you.
No.
Dad.
Said no. My father didn't go to New York, did he?
Jimmy, you came to see me again.
I'm not Jimmy. I'm his son, Mark. And I want to know what happened to my father.
He went to New York.
No. You wrote that letter my mother got. It was typed here and sent from New York.
Your dad was the best partner I ever had. I loved him like a brother.
What about that letter, Danny?
What letter? I don't remember any letter.
The night that Joe Langford was executed, where did my father go when he left that bar?
Leave me alone.
Danny, he was your partner for almost 15 years. He watched your back. He took care of you. What happened to him?
I said leave me alone. Who are you? What do you want from me?
What happened, Danny? Why wouldn't you let him go to the Barclays?
Is it because you knew they were involved? Were you involved in it too, Danny?
He's got a gun. Watch it, Jimmy. He's got a gun.
Answer me one question, Danny. Where did you get the money to start Premium Security? Who gave it to you? Was it the Barclays?
I got him. I got him. I never killed a man before. I never killed anyone before.
I blew it. I attacked him, got defensive, and then lost it again.
Look, you can go back.
You may not even remember you were there.
Dad, take a look at the report. Amanda pulled some strings and got Carrie's done in 24 hours.
I don't usually get a DNA test like this back for a week.
Any terrible diseases?
I don't see any cancer, because that's no guarantee.
How about birth defects?
No?
How about the reason we did this? How does she compare to Elliot Barkley?
Well, they both have recessive genes for cystic fibrosis. They both carry the Delta F508 deletion. It's a mild genetic mutation. Well, you know, I'm no expert, but I'd say these two people come from the same genetic line. You're a Barkley.
That's why Julia was murdered.
By the Barclays?
They wouldn't dirty their hands on a gun, but they did it.
That's why Catherine Langford was murdered, and why Sally Perry was murdered, and why Danny McNamara wouldn't let my dad go see the Barclays.
Hey, Captain just called. Johnny McNamara made bail. His lawyer made a big mercy plea.
Why does he deserve mercy?
His father just died.
Excuse me, Father.
Get out. Excuse me?
Leave. You aren't welcome here.
We're here because your father was my father's partner.
My father was old and frail, and you badgered him into the grave.
He lost his temper.
He wouldn't have lost his temper if you hadn't have been there.
I'm sorry for your loss.
What is it?
Excuse me.
It's Detective Shield 416. It's your father.
Hollywood Stars are playing San Francisco tomorrow. How about we go to the game?
That'd be great.
It's a date.
I always thought he was lying to me, that he knew he wouldn't be back. These years, I was so angry. I thought he abandoned us. But he was murdered.
Don't move.
Oh, sorry. May I speak?
You must.
How's it feel to be rich?
I don't feel rich.
Don't worry, you will.
Don't bet on it. The Barclays are going to fight this. They're going to go to court.
And have this story appear in their own paper? I don't think so. It's going to get interesting. I don't know what they'll do. Excuse me.
Hi. Hi.
Don't believe Cheryl. She went over to the Constitution and found a couple of people that remember seeing Julia.
Did they know why she was there?
She was there to see Elliot Barkley.
What do you think?
I don't know. My dad's on his way to talk to Elliot now. What?
It has nothing to do with any of this. It's about Cheryl.
Your friend Frank couldn't make it, so I offered to sit in.
I don't know about this, Doctor. I'm a very good player.
Oh, I've been known to win a game or two.
Well, I always welcome a new challenge. So, black or white, Dr. Sloan? You were being modest, Dr. Sloan. You're really very good.
Thank you.
But I think I still got you beat.
You know, I owe you a thank you.
For what?
You gave me back my father.
Oh, yeah. I heard they found his body in Danny McNamara's crypt.
Murdered. Your grandfather paid Danny McNamara to kill him.
Doctor, my grandfather didn't hire killers.
Actually, your grandfather also had Catherine Langford killed. But of course, that's in the past. Why don't we deal with the present? How do you like your new sister?
Well, now, who would that be?
Terry Adams.
Well, we'll just have to let the court see about that. Let's check.
You know, the courts call on people like me to interpret DNA. And Terry is a Barkley. Her mother was a Barkley. Her grandmother was probably an illegitimate Barkley.
What are you going to do? Dig up all their graves?
No.
This is a much tougher game than most people think.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you're playing with somebody almost in your league.
Well, I think I might have a little more practice than you.
At chess, maybe. You know, I can prove that Julia came to the paper to see you. I can prove she came here. She ran a DNA test on your hair. Julia was a Barkley.
Even if that were true, it proves absolutely nothing. I've got checkmate in 3 moves, Doctor. Would you like me to show you?
You know the thing about the Barkleys was they never like to get their hands dirty. Your grandfather used Danny McNamara to kill Catherine Langford. You used Johnny to arrange for Julia's death. Pawns, are you? You used them, and they're out there. People who can be squeezed. People who would like to see the Barkleys cut down to size. Fortunately, chess matches run more than one game, usually. I hold the Barkleys responsible for my father's death. And I won't rest until I see Julia's killer behind bars.
You had nothing to do with my father's death.
He had a long life.
Not a very good one, though. My father betrayed your father. I'm sorry.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
They're going to hang Julia Adams' murder on you.
Worst things could have happened.
Name one.
I could have pulled the trigger.
You know, your father started out life deciding to be a cop, uphold the law. Then he spent his life with crimes and murders hanging over his head.
I thought I knew my father. I have no idea who he was anymore.
Can you imagine the pain he must have felt deciding to leave the evidence of his crimes to be discovered when he died?
What are you saying?
I'm saying the man couldn't live with what he did. I think your father left you a message. Don't be like him. Don't be the Barkleys' hired gun.
They're my friends.
No, they're not. I think your father was saying no one should get away with murder. Not a cop, not a kid selling drugs on the street, and not the head of a newspaper. That the way you do your thinking?
It makes me feel better. Ted Barkley called me from his private jet. Said he wanted me to do him a big favor.
Ted?
Yeah, he said he wanted Julia Adams killed.
Boy, did I get that wrong.
What?
Nothing. What do you mean?
That look.
No look.
Uh-huh.
So, how's it going with you and Carrie?
You know, it's funny you should ask. She, you're not gonna believe this. She thinks that, you and I have, what do I want to say? Well, we have, feelings for each other.
Feelings?
And of course, I explained, we're just partners and friends.
You did?
But she says, it's obvious that you have no feelings.
Me?
And that I have,
Feelings for me?
Exactly. It's crazy, huh? I mean, we do have a certain, I don't know.
Yeah, which is rare.
And, since your divorce, I have sort of thought about it a little.
You have?
Yeah. Once or twice. Haven't you?
It crossed my mind.
I mean, just a curiosity sort of way. What do you think about your best friend?
Yeah.
It might be like to move to the next level.
Which level?
Which level were you thinking of? Yeah, Sloan here. Yeah, Dad. We're on? All right, I'm on my way. So, where were we?
Solving a crime.
Right.
I've been worried about you, Johnny.
You mind?
No, help yourself. How's it going, kid?
Not good.
What do the lawyers say?
Ted, I need a favor.
You got it, kid.
Well, I need a little advance on our deal.
Excuse me?
It's been 2 weeks. The lawyers haven't come to an agreement on a price yet.
They'll get to it, Johnny. They'll get to it.
Ted, I got a lot of pressure on me.
Listen, I can imagine.
I thought you could help me get out of the country.
Johnny, you're my friend. But
it would be best for you if I wasn't around.
I can't implicate myself by helping you skip out on bail, Johnny.
Do you think Ted knows that Johnny's wearing a wire?
Nobody's gonna know you gave me the money.
What money? What are you talking about?
This is never gonna work.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, this is very funny. You think it was my dad on the plane? You think that's who you talked to?
What?
What? You've known my dad a long, long time. You should know he wouldn't do anything like this.
Never do a thing. You had Julia Adams killed?
Do you have any idea how much money she wanted from us?
So what? We'd still have hundreds of millions of dollars, Elliot?
Calm yourself. She was going to be able to prove that Catherine Langford was an illegitimate Barkley, and your father had her killed. Now, just imagine that on the cover of People magazine.
You are a fool.
I did it to protect you, to protect our families, to protect our family name.
What kind of family are we, Elliot? What kind of son did I raise?
Elliot Barkley, you're under arrest for the murder of Julia Adams.
I believe that's checkmate.
Anything else?
No, I'll be just a minute. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
What was that?
Ted Barkley. He wanted to apologize personally for my sister's death and to assure me that his lawyer is going to be contacting me within a week. He seemed like a good guy.
He is. Well, got everything?
Just one last thing. Thank you.
Bye.
You're the best.
Take care.
Cannot thank you enough for everything you've done.
Come on, I'll walk you to the car.
You gonna call me?
Yeah, Cheryl lets me.
I think I'll leave this badge right here.
You know, we've lived in this house a long time, and there's always been something missing. What? Open it.
Thanks, Steve.
Don't run off. The Fugitive is next.
If you could only save 1,000 lives out of millions,
You're forgetting this one.
how would you choose? If you had to defy your own government to give them freedom,
Put down that gun!
would you be willing? This is the true story of one woman who changed history.
My amazing daughter.
Haven, CBS Sunday.